Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Culture Keepers. I'm excited to share something with you today called Working Genius by Patrick Lencioni. So if you haven't already done so, like, share, comment, all that kind of good stuff. We'd like to hear from you. The Working Genius is an amazing tool for businesses. When this came into our world just a few years ago, it really transformed our business here in the fact of what do people get joy doing and what do they get frustrated doing? That's what this tool does. It's not a free tool. It's like $25 or something like that to do it on your own. When we interview people, we pay for that for them because we want to know who it is. Would you like and love doing the job that's actually tasked to you and whatnot? So I'll go over a little bit of that, but I'm going to talk a little bit about the Working Genius. There's 6 of them. What they are, what they mean, and how you can restructure your business by giving your coworkers or whatever, them taking this and maybe they can share some of those things. And that's what we've done. Like, I didn't realize that she hated that and she loved that and she hated that and loved that. And we just kind of switched some roles a little bit and now they both excel like crazy. So this has been such a huge impact on our business. So let's get right into it. So just give you a visual of what it looks like. This is the Working Genius. Now the Working Genius, if you were to take a set of gears and you put a gear here and a gear here and they mesh together nicely, and then you put a gear here and it meshes nicely, and then a gear here, it kind of, everything works together and it starts right up at the top of our human, how things get done. Well, how do things get done? Right out of the gate, it's the wonder. So the first genius is wonder. And these are the people that a lot of times they'll look up in the sky and you're thinking they're ignoring you and something's going on over here, but they're literally wondering, and they ask the question, what if, how can I do something? How can we get better at X? Things like that. So these wonders, they drive some people nuts because they're like, what are you doing? And they can spool inside their heads, but these people, we need these people to ask the questions so that we can get on to the next part of that cog in the wheel. That little wheel is going to be the invention portion. So these guys, these wonders, they're asking the questions like, how do we do this? The invention's saying, this is how we do it. I got this. We could do this, 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 and this. So the invention is the new idea person. They're like, oh my gosh, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this. So now you got a wonder and you got invention, you're going down. What happens with that invention when you just implement it right then and you don't have the next cog in the wheel, which is discernment? So when you spell this out, it spells widget, W-I-D-G-E-T. So we've done the wonder, the invention, now the discernment portion of it. So what if we did this? From the wonder, the inventor goes, oh, I think we could do this. And the discerner goes, whoa, 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 hold on. There's consequences, both good and bad consequences to that invention that you got there. If we do this, then this is going to happen, or vice versa. So we really got to discern this through. And then it might go right back to the inventor. And the inventor go, oh, what about this? And how can we do it this way? And maybe it'll change the question of the wonderer. So on our leadership team, we have all these different types of working genius on our leadership team, so we can really, we understand and we lean on the strengths of that wonder, and then we say, hey, we need to stop the wonder right now, we need some invention, need to stop that, we got to discern all this stuff we got going on right now, see which direction we want to go, things like that. So what happens after you finally, you got the question, you got the answer, you've discerned it, this is go time? The next cog in the wheel is the galvanizer. That's me. I'm the one that likes to galvanize things. I can sell ice to people up in Alaska. I can sell heat to people, furnaces down in Florida. It's just a gift I have. So I galvanize things up. I get behind something and I go. You put a galvanizer right after that wonder, bad idea, right? It's not been invented yet. It hasn't been discerned yet. So you can see how they got to go in order, from the wonder to the invention, discernment, galvanizing. And then they can galvanize the troops. Let's get this thing done. This is amazing. We're going to work right through this. So the first 2 are the ideation portion of it. The second 2 are the implementation, and the third 2 are the completion portions of the whole thing. So the last 2 are enablement, and enablement isn't quite what you think. And enablement is the embodiment of positivity, the want to do things and get it done and get it checked off the list because it's someone else you want to help. So for example, if you're an acts of service type person, you're going to want to help your coworker complete something so they can get that checked off the list and that fills your bucket. So I'm an enabler as well. I'm a galvanizer and an enabler. So I love to galvanize and I love to help people. And so that's getting it done. I'm helping you get it done by checking that box. The last wheel on this cog of widget wheels is tenacity. And with tenacity, those are the people, those are the box checkers. These are the people that cannot go home at the end of the day without checking off that last box, and they got to get it done, otherwise it's going to drive them nuts. Enablement is me wanting to help you get it done and check it off. Tenacity is just getting that done and checking that box. And sometimes they'll get the box checked off without possibly being exactly perfect with it because they just want to get it checked off. So we also have to have checks and balances for those folks. So in the general feel of things, let's put this in an actual work environment. So in our leadership team, we'll say, hey, we have a problem out there and we don't know how to fix it. And it's problem X. And we need some wonder and some invention going on in this meeting. So galvanizers, stop. You don't get a talk in this one. You enablers and you tenacity people, you don't get a talk unless you have a genius that's also up there. So typically you have two geniuses, two that you're competent at, and two that frustrate you. So I am a galvanizer and enabler. Those are my total genius. My next two are discernment and tenacity. That's my competency. I can run with those things as long as I like. They just don't give me as much joy as the first two. And the last ones that frustrate me are the wonder and invention. So I'm not that guy that stares, and I'm not the guy that comes up with the ideas. It's just not my thing. So when we sit down in our leadership meeting, even though I'm the owner of the company, I have to shut myself off and say, you can't talk. We got to let these guys do their geniuses. This is what they're great at. This is what they do, and I have to recognize that. So you can kind of see the power of coworkers or bosses with employees or anything. It doesn't matter which direction you go in. If you can understand who you are, just like we talked about the DISC and we talked about the love languages in the last session, if you can understand who you are and what your geniuses are, you need to turn your geniuses off when you don't need them at the time. Otherwise, you're just going to be a disruptor, and we don't want to be disruptors when it comes to trying to get things done. So actually acknowledging what the meeting is for is so important. It's like, hey guys, this is a wonder and invention, a little bit discernment meeting. So all of our galvanizers and tenacity and enablement people, just keep quiet for now. But you might have a wonder and a tenacity person. So they're both. Say, wonder tenacity guy or gal, turn off your tenacity right now. Just turn on your wonder. We don't need the tenacity. We don't need to finish this today. We just need to get the framework of how we're going to do this until we can get it in through the discernment portion to be able to finish it later. So you can kind of see this is Patrick Lencioni has this, 6 types of working genius. You can see it online. He's got a podcast called The Table Group. Absolutely fantastic. Highly recommend you listen to that. It brings a lot of things to light on who you are, who your team is, how that works, how you can work that out with each other. And it is, like I said, it has absolutely been a godsend to our company and our business and even my home life for that matter, because now I understand that, my wife might be the one that she's got to finish this before she goes to bed. She can't go to bed if that's not checked off. And why would I get frustrated at her if she's got to do that, otherwise she'll spool. So if I know that about her and I know that about me and she knows that about me, and things just get along so much easier. So the whole part of Culture Keepers and this whole podcast is, how do we keep a wonderful culture no matter where we're at? We talked about it in, I think, the very first episode, maybe one of the first couple. You have the ability to change the culture anywhere you're at. Whether you're driving your car and someone cuts you off, you can change that culture real quick by getting right next to them and giving them the bird. You can change that culture by saying, I hope you get where you're going, or don't get in a wreck, or anything. You guys have the ability to do that at the gas station, at your church, at work, at home. You have the ability to either make that a positive experience or a negative experience. It's completely up to you on how you deal with stressors that come your way. So I heard a great quote the other day from a gentleman. I don't know his name. It's on there. It says growth mindset. He's either on Instagram or Facebook, but he does quotes every day. Fantastic life stuff. And he was talking about triggers. Or no, you know what? I take that back. It was Tony Robbins that said this about the triggers just the other day. And he was talking about what triggers you. That person triggered me. No, that person didn't trigger you. Whatever that person said, you decided to be triggered. They can't control what you do. So when you talk about getting involved in something that you're not comfortable with, or you get into that position of the culture is kind of cruddy or whatever, you can add to it or subtract from it. And just remember, the triggers are on you. And if you decide to make that a negative thing, like that person who passed you and cut you off, you can turn that into a very bad day all day long if you want. Or you can just say, man, maybe they're going to the hospital because their kid's in the hospital. You don't know what's going on over there, but why should that trigger you? They didn't cause you to be triggered. You caused you to be triggered because of what they did, because of how you perceived that. So there's certain things in here, and I think I've said this in earlier podcasts as well. We always at this company assume. We always assume. I tell everybody, you always need to assume, but you put two words after it, and that is positive intent. If you always assume positive intent, you're never going to stick your foot in your mouth. If you flip that guy off that cut you off and yell at him and tailgate him and chase him down, you chase him all the way down to where there's a car wreck up there and his wife is in the other car wreck. Wouldn't you just feel horrible about that? So now you triggered yourself and got yourself all worked up over this one thing when it wasn't exactly what you thought. So if you assume positive intent, you shouldn't have that problem anymore. So bring your culture up, bring the culture up around you, speak freely of that stuff. Check out Working Genius, Patrick Lencioni. Check out the Table Group on his podcast. It's absolutely fantastic. We use it here. It is so great. Learn yourself, learn others. And again, like, share, and comment if you certainly like. Follow us, whatever that is here. And we appreciate you. Thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next one.